get myself right up on out of here. I feel like a disgrace, I'm not really what I appear. I go home to my girl and I make nicey nice. The fact that she don't know that I just put someone on. I don't like being here. I constantly live in fear. Could be gone at any time. When you live a life of crime, you have to face the music and do the time.
Welcome everyone to Mayhemtainment. I am your host JD, and coming back from our holiday break, and I brought with me Mike D, representing not just Michigan but wrestling from the 313 as well. Make sure you follow him on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok is his other outlet. So YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. Search Wrestling from the 313 and go give him a follow. And make sure you tell him that Mayhem Media sent you. Mike D, welcome back.
What's going on, man? You been all right?
Yeah, doing good after the holiday break. You know, it wasn't much of a break, but at least I got to take some time away from the shows for a little bit, which was nice.
Yeah, that's what's up.
I'm excited to get back into it. You know what I mean? After the holidays, the break definitely did me some good, at least in terms of, you know, wanting to get back to the show and start producing episodes and getting things posted again. So,
right. Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, and I'm glad to have you on. I'm glad you and both and CranderQ, shout out friends of the Squared Circle. You guys were really killing it through December and even over the holidays. You guys didn't really take much of a Christmas break. You guys were still making episodes.
I know. Yeah,
or at least you were up to Christmas at least.
Yeah. I did. I put out one episode, and I know he did. He put out a couple of episodes, not just for his Friends of the Square Circle podcast, but the Show Me the Collectible. So, you know.
Yeah, he's getting that show going too. Shout out CranderQ. I'm still waiting on my invite for that, by the way.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about some NFL. The season just ended, and we're getting ready to go into the postseason now.
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Man, you know
Let's
what?
bring up the visual. Here we go. We got the NFL bracket here. 7 teams. Let me break down how the playoffs work in case there is anybody that doesn't know. What they changed it was last year, the year before, they added 7 teams going from 6. Only one team gets the bye. Then you have 3 games in the first round. The winner of one of those games faces the potentially the lowest seeded team that wins will face Baltimore. Then the next 2 will face each other, and then they go on to the championship. I use the AFC as a visual aid there, and there we can see it up closer. Let's talk about the AFC first, Mike.
All right, that's cool.
What are your thoughts? How did it shake out here? I mean, it looks strong to me. It looks good.
Yeah, it looks real strong. Surprisingly, the matchup that I want to see is Cleveland and Houston.
I would say because how did they make it?
Yes, and I told my wife this on Saturday. Houston's coach needs to be the coach of the year, because and I say that he needs to be the coach of the year over Dan Campbell, who's did a good job with the Lions. But the Texans weren't even expected to make the playoffs. And what he's been able to do with that team and what CJ Stroud has been able to do his first year has been excellent. And then with the Cleveland Browns coming in, Deshaun Watson's the big money guy. Cleveland's got that good defense, and then Deshaun Watson goes down. Joe Flacco comes in.
Let's talk about that for a minute. We're talking about the Cleveland Houston game. I mean, Houston absolutely. And CJ Stroud, he is a crazy individual.
Yeah.
But the Browns. Let's talk about the Browns for just a second, because I even wrote an article about when the Browns picked up Deshaun Watson, and in my article on America's Tribune, shout out America's Tribune, I wrote some sports articles for him for a little while, and that was one of my articles. Them picking up Deshaun Watson, and I even said in my article, "What are you doing? This is terrible. You're paying this guy all this money. He's going to be out the first couple games because he was suspended."
Yeah.
I don't believe that the cloud around him, like, I don't think that's the end. I think he'll be suspended again, is my opinion. I don't think he's done with the suspensions. I suspect he'll be suspended again. And of course, he didn't get the opportunity. He went down. You know what I mean? And then you bring in Joe Flacco. So you pay Deshaun Watson all this money. He gets a huge, obscene amount of it is guaranteed money. He doesn't even have to pick up the football again in a Browns uniform. He's going to make like $100 and some million.
Yeah.
So I think the Browns really set themselves back, probably 5 or 6 years. I'm not sure. I think his contract is for 5 years.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So you set your team back 5 years. That's a huge chunk of your money now that is gone. There's nothing you can do about it. Whether he plays or not, he's getting a big fat check. Yeah. So whether he comes back and gets suspended, unless he does something that violates if he has a player agreement with the team. But other than that, I mean, he came back and got injured. You know what I mean? I mean, that team, and for them to be in the playoffs with Joe Flacco, by the way, where did he come? I mean, of course we know where he came from, but when did he come? I thought he retired. I thought he was done.
Yeah, they said he didn't officially retire, but I think he was a teacher or something like that. I know he was sitting at home and that he got that call, and he said he was still been working out and stuff like that. Man, he's definitely kept the momentum going for the Cleveland Browns, and
unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable, man. And no, I think you're right. I don't think he ever officially retired. I think he just Baltimore moved on. He didn't want to be I don't think he got traded. He's just been a free agent, basically, I think.
Yeah. He's like one of those players that like eventually they retire, but don't retire right away, just kind of like fade off into the sunset, and then
and Joe Flacco, apparently he's not done, which is, it's good he didn't officially retire or announce his retirement. Look, he's still getting it done. Which is probably why he didn't officially retire. He's probably like, well, I still feel good. I'm gonna, I'll wait a couple more years before I officially retire. But he also didn't appear to be in a hurry, you know what I mean, working with teams or having an agent go out there and fish for him. He didn't just want to be on a team to be on a team either.
Right.
So he was comfortable with where he was, and that's great. And now he's back leading a team again. And how he managed to get the Browns in the playoffs. I mean, I think this is going to be a year for them. Like, this is going to be a good year for them. But, they made it to the playoffs. Maybe they make it to the next round. But I'm thinking that next year and over the next few years, they're going to have some struggles. The best they can hope for is that Joe Flacco is willing to play for them for the next couple of years, for whatever money, he's making, because I don't see Deshaun Watson being the Browns' future. I just don't.
Yeah. And then honestly, after this season, depending on what Cleveland does in the playoffs, somebody might throw that bag at Joe Flacco this offseason. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's to be a backup.
I don't think I think I disagree with you on that. I don't think he wants to be a backup. I don't think he wants to be on a team just to be on a team. So
right.
I think whatever his contract is with the Browns, he'll probably see through. But then I think he'll either announce his retirement, or you're right. The way the NFL is, finding a good quarterback that can get it done, even one that's as old as Joe Flacco, you know what I mean? He might even get a starting gig. I personally don't understand why Gardner Minshew doesn't have a starting job yet. I mean, he carried the Colts through a couple of games this year. He didn't win every single game, but he carried the Colts. He was looking good, just like he looked for the Eagles when Jalen Hurts went down. I mean, I'm a big Gardner Minshew fan, and I think he should be a starter. I think there's starters that shouldn't be starters right now, and backups that should be starting games. But that's, the way the NFL is, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Cleveland and Houston, definitely going to be a huge game. Definitely probably a popular game to watch. I mean, Miami and Kansas City, that is going to be good. I think we're going to see what Miami is really made of. If you go look at their schedule, they've had a pretty easy schedule. They have not had the hardest schedule, Miami. So for them to be where they're at, I think you look at the schedule that they have and you're like, yeah, this is where they should be. They should be making the playoffs with the schedule they had.
Yeah.
So I think the Chiefs, though, is going to be a real test. If they beat the Chiefs, then what I've been saying to my friends and family and stuff about the Dolphins is obviously, complete rubbish, because I don't know that Miami is a team that is going to make it But Kansas City is going to put them to the test. If they can hurdle Kansas City, then I've been wrong about everything in regards to Miami. But I don't think they're going to beat Kansas City. What do you think?
This was going to be interesting because also this could be the game that Tyreek Hill comes back to play against his old team, Kansas City. So
there is that.
It's going to be a real good one. And then Kansas City,
they've been floundering. They have been,
They've been kind of up and down this season too. Like they took that loss to the Raiders, which was like a big surprise. And they took a couple other. Of course, they took their first loss against the Lions. So let me throw that in there.
I gotta get that in there.
I think it's gonna be a good game. I can't really say who's gonna win because I think Miami could beat Kansas City, and I think vice versa. It's gonna be
offense doesn't show up. If the Chiefs' offense doesn't show up, because the Dolphins do have a tough defense. They do have a really strong defense. So I think the Chiefs' offense is gonna have to show up. And I think it's going to be a real test for Miami's offense.
And another thing,
I think it'll get a good test for Miami's offense.
Yeah, and another thing with Kansas City, their receiver got to catch the ball. I don't know if he's still on the field playing for them, but it's playoff time. You got to catch that ball, man.
That seemed to be what the Chiefs. That seemed to be what the Chiefs are lacking this year. Is good since they got rid of Tyreek Hill and. Jason, they only got, or not Jason, Travis Kelce. But there's no one else. He doesn't have another Tyreek Hill, someone else that he can go to when he needs that first down or when he needs that pass play. Yeah. That is one thing that Patrick Mahomes has been missing this year. None of the receivers stepped up to be the hey, if you throw it to me, I'll catch it every time. I may not be down the field. I may not always, but if you throw it to me, I'm going to get that first down. I'm going to get that yard we need.
Yeah.
Nobody stepped up to fill that role, and I found that very shocking. Even Juju Smith-Schuster, them giving him a shot. I thought he'd try and really blow it up this year to show that he still got it. Because I think the Chiefs only signed him to a 1-year deal. So if I'm Smith-Schuster, I'm trying to learn the playbook. I'm working hard. I'm hustling. I'm trying. I want to get noticed so I can pick up another contract or stay with this team next year. Right. And honestly, if I'm the Chiefs, I don't renew his contract. I don't extend his contract. He didn't show me anything.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's definitely been a problem with Kansas City, dropping the drop passes, and they can't do that in the playoffs because if they do that, those little mistakes can hurt you, and they'll be out in the first round.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. Pittsburgh, Buffalo, another good one, I think.
Yeah.
I think that is going. Honestly, the winner of that game could be going to the Super Bowl, or if nothing else, I think they're going to the championship. I think it'll be I think it's going to be the winner of Pittsburgh, Buffalo against Baltimore in the championship. That's what my championship prediction is on the AFC side.
That's interesting. The AFC side, well, the Pittsburgh Buffalo, it's going to be a good series, and Buffalo's been kind of struggling, and then Pittsburgh is just kind of came out of nowhere, especially with Mason Rudolph being a starting quarterback in a couple of games. And
another WTF moment in the NFL. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like just like Joe Flacco and the Browns. And now you're talking about, oh man, it's just there have been some of those moments.
Yeah, but I think for Buffalo, this is probably like their last chance at getting to the AFC Championship and possibly to the Super Bowl, because they've been kind of sliding like the last few years. Like as far as they started off kind of good and were winning the division, and then it's like once they get to the playoffs, they just kind of fall off every year. Pittsburgh is just one of them teams that's just always going to be in it. Mike Tomlin is always going to find a way. First of all, he's always going to be over 500, and he's always going to find a way to keep them in contention up until the last game of the season. You know what I'm saying? And
absolutely.
He just keeps them in there. And I think with the quarterback situation, they got to stick with Pickett. I know Mason Rudolph is hot right now, but you really don't have no other quarterbacks that you can go to after this season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I still see Mason Rudolph in that backup position if he's in Pittsburgh next year. But Pickett is your guy, and you just got to get him in, get that chemistry together with those other receivers. They running back Harris, he's a beast. But if he can get it together with Johnson, I think Pickens, and the other good young receivers they got on their team, Pittsburgh is going to be back in the NFC, in the AFC North.
Yeah, and I think you're right about the Bills. I think both the Bills and the Chiefs are kind of they kind of need a partial rebuild.
Yeah,
they've both teams have lost some of their high profile guys, wide receivers or tight ends or whatever. And I think they both need a partial rebuild. And I think both teams are in need of receivers. If you got Josh Allen locked down, if you got Patrick Mahomes locked down, and what you need now is to get him some targets. Get both of those guys some people who will catch the ball and make sure he's protected. The offensive line, and I mean, when you got a good quarterback like Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, you've got to invest in your wide receiving core, and Jalen Hurts too, for the Eagles, for that matter. You have got to invest in receivers who are going to work with him and get their timing down, and who work with him, who work with the quarterback. And you got to get wide receivers who are going to be able to catch the ball. You got to get your quarterback somebody that can catch the ball when he throws it to him. So I think both the Chiefs and the Bills need a kind of a partial rebuild this year or in the next year or two and get some wide receivers, tight ends, maybe even some offensive linemen to make sure they're well protected.
Yeah, and I feel the same way with Kansas City. Like they got a couple of years of contention left too. Like you said, if they don't, rebuild or figure it out in free agency or through the draft, that window's starting to close on them as well.
I don't know, but I mean, I'll agree with you with the Bills because I don't know how long they have Josh Allen for, but I'm pretty certain the Chiefs got Patrick Mahomes for like 2 decades.
Oh yeah, they got him for a while, but
so I mean, as long as you got Patrick Mahomes, you can build around him. I think when you lose a quarterback, when you and it's I wish it wasn't this way. I wish that more of it were dependent upon the receivers and the tight ends and stuff, but really when you have a good quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, you can build around them. You just got to get them the right people. So, they got Patrick Mahomes locked down, then I think the Chiefs need, like I said, need a partial rebuild. The Bills might need to go all the way back. I don't know how long Josh Allen, his contract is. And I think Josh Allen
got a big contract too.
He's got a long one?
I think he got a long one too, because I think he re-signed around that time. Burrow re-signed, Justin Herbert re-signed. So I know it was a lot of those guys that had re-signed.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they got him locked down, then I think that they could probably build around Josh Allen. And like you said, they got a good running back in Buffalo too. So you just got to get, both teams really just need, even their defenses are not terrible. They just you got to get your quarterback someone to throw the ball and someone who will catch it.
Yeah.
And that is something that they have been missing out.
Yep.
All right. So you want to give a prediction for the AFC side? I said the winner of the Buffalo-Pittsburgh against Baltimore.
You know what? Because I want to say Baltimore because Baltimore has been playing crazy.
Yeah.
But from what I want to see and what I posted on Facebook a couple days ago, I'm gonna put the Cleveland Browns in.
Wow, that's a long shot pick. Against who? Yep. The Browns and who?
AFC Championship. The Browns, because what are they? The 5th seed?
The 5th seed.
Ooh.
So they're only facing Baltimore if Kansas City and Buffalo win. If Kansas City and Buffalo win, then Cleveland faces Baltimore.
Oh, let me see.
But if Miami or Pittsburgh win, they face Baltimore, and Cleveland will face the winner of the other game.
Because I think Kansas City is going to beat Miami. I'm going to go ahead and say that.
All right.
And I'm going to say Buffalo will beat Pittsburgh.
Then that would put Cleveland at Baltimore in the second round.
You know what? I'm going to go with my heart. Hey, Cleveland going to find some way to pull it off. It's gonna be the Cleveland Browns and
You can still pick
the Kansas.
Baltimore. It's not a guarantee that they're going against Baltimore.
Right,
So
right,
I mean,
right.
you can still, it's still possible that it could be Cleveland and Baltimore.
Yeah, you know what? Cleveland and Baltimore in the AFC Championship. I'm just gonna say that. Yeah.
All right, so you're going Cleveland and Baltimore, which is freaking crazy, and to pick Cleveland, I think. And I'm gonna go the winner of Pittsburgh Buffalo against Baltimore. So that's our AFC pick. We'll have once we get to the Super Bowl, we are planning a before we talk about the NFC side, let me let everybody know we are planning a Super Bowl episode. It's likely going to be live, and Mike D is going to be on that episode. It'll be on Super Bowl day. We're not sure just if it's going to be before the Super Bowl, if we were going to do it at halftime, or if we're going to do it at the end of the Super Bowl, or perhaps some combination of those two. But it will be on Super Bowl Sunday, and it will be around the Super Bowl. We're just not sure exactly if it's going to be before, after, during halftime, or some combination of that. So they make sure you look for that, because we'll check and see if our predictions for the championship games were right.
Sweet.
And I do think, I mean, even if Pittsburgh or Buffalo make it to the championship game, and it is Buffalo against the winner of Pittsburgh, Baltimore, even if it is Baltimore against the winner of Pittsburgh Buffalo, I do think Baltimore wins, and I do think Baltimore will be the AFC representative in the Super Bowl. Do you want to make a Super Bowl prediction for the AFC side, or are you just happy with the championship? You think the Browns make it all the way? Does Cleveland make it all the way?
You know what? Cleveland could be one of those teams. You know, that almost every year in the NFL playoffs, there's always that one team that comes out of nowhere and surprises everybody.
Listen, I think they can make it to the championship for sure. I don't see them beating Baltimore, Pittsburgh, or Buffalo. And Cleveland, I don't even know that they beat Kansas City or Miami, honestly. I think Houston is their only chance at a win, and that's not going to be easy, because Houston is likely going to beat them. So the fact that you chose Cleveland, I can't help you with that one. I mean, if you're thinking Cleveland's making it to the championship, you might as well go all in with them. You might as well be like, yeah, they're going to the Super Bowl, fuck it, and they're going to win. If you're picking Cleveland on the AFC side, because I already know who you're picking on the NFC side. So yeah, maybe you can't have them go all the way to win the Super Bowl, but you can at least might as well pick the Browns to at least go all the way to the Super Bowl.
Hey, you know what? You know what? And that was on my post on Facebook about a week ago. I did pick Cleveland to go to the Super Bowl, so I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah, that's insanity, but we'll find out how that worked out. So look for us in the Super Bowl Sunday. We'll have an episode, a Super Bowl special, which has been kind of regular for us. We've done a couple years in a row now. All right, let's go to the NFC side. What are your? Yeah, I mean, it's just as crazy on this side. I mean, I don't care that Dallas is the number 2 seed and Philadelphia is the number 5 seed. Those are two strong teams right there. And Detroit, and let's just start at the top. Let's not get crazy. Philadelphia and Tampa Bay. That is going to be a game. I think Philly pulls that out.
You know what? That game can go either way, because Philly has not been playing too well with the last 5 or 6 games. Six games they only got 1 win.
True, they did. They have kind of fallen off towards the end of the season. I think I'm hoping that's what happened to them, even though there weren't any starters playing in the last game of the season. That it was backups and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We got our asses kicked, so I'm hoping that was like a wake up call. Like, we just got trounced by a team who does not have a 500 record, and we should probably wake up if we want to beat Tampa Bay. So I think that loss at the end of the season helps Philadelphia beat Tampa Bay. That's what I think, because Tampa Bay is a strong team, but I got to go with my team, the Eagles, for sure.
Yeah, and then Baker Mayfield has been playing good too. Yeah, and it's crazy because a lot of the experts, I've been watching ESPN, and they have been signed with Tampa Bay too, which I've been surprised. But Philadelphia's been struggling, so it's gonna be interesting to see, like you said, if they can resting their starters or whatever, can they get it together against Tampa Bay? And they're gonna be on the road too, so it's just we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I do hope that they can pull it out. I want to see them go in. The Rams in Detroit. We know that you're gonna pick the Lions on this one. That's your team.
You know what? You know what? I am gonna pick the Lions, but I am worried about this game. It's a lot of storylines in this game.
Oh man, I know. Holy
It's a
cow!
lot of
Yeah,
storylines. Stafford is coming back. Jared Goff is going up against his old team,
yeah.
and
Both
that
Stafford and Goff. Both Stafford and Goff going against their opposing. Oops, that's the AFC side. I apologize. The Rams. I mean, that's both their guys going against their old teams. I think both of them are going to be fired up. I think it's going to be quite a shootout. Honestly, I think it's going to be quite a shootout.
it's gonna come down to the defense because that Lions secondary, they better be ready for those Rams receivers.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, they not two receivers that you can sleep on.
Yeah.
And the Rams running back is pretty good too. So that Lions
Akers, I
defense,
believe his name is.
what's his name?
Cam Akers.
No, I think his name is Kyron Williams or something like that. Because I think Cam Akers may have got traded or he might just got benched.
Oh, did he? Okay. I'm not sure. I'm trying to look it up. Yo, you're right. Yeah, Kyron Williams. Yeah.
And he's been playing very, very well these last couple of games. So yeah, that Lions defense has got to be on point. We suffered a couple of injuries in that last game against Minnesota. Laporta injured his knee. St. Brown was holding his ribs. Khalif Raymond went down with a knee injury. I think Branch had left with an injury. So hopefully, we take this time to get ourselves healthy, look at some film. Because Stafford is about to come in and he's about to put on the show.
Yeah. I do think that's going to be quite a shootout. I would pick Detroit on this one also because the Rams have been playing good and stuff, but Detroit's just been on fire the whole season, and I think they're gonna beat the Rams despite the injuries. I think they find a way to pull it out. I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be a nail biter, and I think it come down to the last drive of the game. But I do believe that Detroit will pull it out, whether it's them driving on offense to win the game or their defense holding and being able to stop them. Like, I do believe it will come down to the last drive of the game.
Yeah. And I just also think too, like, just that's the first playoff game. That's the first home playoff game, I think, since like 91. So it's gonna be a lot of hype. It's gonna be a lot of adrenaline. It's gonna be a lot of momentum. Like, downtown Detroit is about to be crazy this Sunday. So
yeah, absolutely.
We love the Lions.
It's gonna be yeah, I wanted to have the schedule up. I don't know. I'll have to check and see if I got the schedule up in my window. Oh no, it's right here. Yeah, they're gonna be they're NBC, they're Peacock, the Rams in Detroit. That'll be Peacock on Sunday night at 8 p.m. The Eagles will be on ABC. Oh, that'll be Sunday night football or Monday night football. The Bucks and the Eagles get Monday night football. Yeah. And Green Bay and Dallas, we're about to talk about them. They're the late game on Fox on Sunday. Green Bay and Dallas. What do you think about that? I think Dallas has had a strong team this year. I think they have a strong defense. I think they've been finding a way to get it done on offense. But I don't think, and they came back to take the top seed away from the Eagles, in the NFC East. So, and win the division. So, and I'm not happy about that. But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Dallas is that team that they're the accident waiting to happen. But it's going to come one of those years where that accident is not going to happen. And this could possibly be the year. But Green Bay has been playing pretty well too. I like Jordan Love. I like that young group that they got. I want to say Dallas is probably going to win this one.
Me too. Unfortunately, I do think Dallas probably wins this one, and that's unfortunate. But that's going to be the way it is. So
But you gotta remember, Dallas is the accident waiting to happen. So at
Yeah,
any
they're a great team, but they're a great team, but it always feels like they're just one wrong play from ending up in quicksand, and then they make a mistake and another mistake and another mistake, and then the game gets out of hand for them. So
yeah.
it is possible, but I do think Dallas pulls it out against Green Bay. All right, so NFC side, who do you think makes it to the championship? I assume you're picking Detroit.
NFC Championship, I'm going with my two favorite teams, Detroit and San Francisco.
Detroit and San Francisco, very good. I'm going to go I think Detroit makes it also, but I'm going to go Detroit and Philly.
Okay.
Because I'm going to pick my team, and I hope on. I'll tell you what, if in the championship game, if it ends up being Philadelphia and Detroit, you and I are going to have to do a special episode on that championship weekend before the game, so that we can talk some smack to each other before they face each other if they make it to the championship game. If Detroit and Philadelphia end up in the NFC Championship, look for a special episode on the championship weekend, but only if those two teams make it to the championship. Otherwise, just look for us in the Super Bowl.
Right.
All right. Well, actually, going through the playoffs and stuff kind of took a little bit longer than I thought. Did you want to talk about any stats, or do you just wanted to wrap it up there?
Just one before we wrap it up, just gotta, just show the Michigan hoodie real quick. We won the national championship last year, so yesterday. Sorry.
Oh, yesterday. Yeah. Okay. I don't follow college very much.
Yeah, they beat Washington. So they went undefeated throughout the whole season, 15-0. First national championship since '97. So Michigan Wolverine Nation is they happy right now.
Yeah. Well, yes, congratulations to them. And of course, you're a Michigan fan, being that you're, from Detroit and Michigan. So that makes sense. We should maybe next year we'll try and recruit you on the team to help cover some college games or something, because we've had people ask us about that, but I just can't. It's all I can to keep up with stuff I got to do. I couldn't take on college football also.
Yeah, it's so many teams, and then honestly, the only time I really watch college football is when Michigan is playing.
Yeah, I can understand that. I'll occasionally turn into some of the championship games too, but I have not had time to watch anything college related.
Yeah,
this year. So, all right, well then we're gonna save the stats. There's nothing really impressive about the stats. We were gonna talk about some of the receiving and passing and stuff stats, but none of it's necessarily super interesting. So I think we're just going to end this episode here. We'll check out and see if our championship games. Oh, I didn't make a Super Bowl prediction. Let me make a Super Bowl prediction.
All
right. Let's see. If it's going to be, honestly, I'd love for Philadelphia to make it, but if it's Philadelphia and Detroit, I'd love to go with my own team, but for the sake of picking a winning combination to the Super Bowl, I think the Super Bowl will end up being Buffalo against Detroit. I think it'll be Buffalo and Detroit. I'd love for the Eagles to make it, and if the Eagles turn it on, if they're playing, like they can in the playoffs, then the Detroit Philly game could be anybody's guess. Yeah. So I think Philly does have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl, but unless Philly really turns it on, I think Detroit will likely pull it out, because if Detroit can beat the Rams, I don't know that you're going to stop their momentum on that side. Yeah. Even the Niners. I don't know that the Niners would be able to stop that momentum. I don't know that the Eagles would be able to stop that momentum. I think the Lions beating the Rams would be unbelievable for the Detroit Lions, and I don't know that you would be able to stop their momentum after that. I think it could carry them all the way to a Super Bowl win. I don't know about that. I don't know if I'm ready to go out on that. I think if it's Baltimore against Detroit in the Super Bowl, I think Baltimore stops you guys at the Super Bowl. Sorry.
Yeah. You know what? They beat us in the regular season, and they beat us bad. So I would cross my fingers and hope that the Lions would make it a game. But the way they beat us in the regular season, I will have a little doubt too. But Super Bowl, I had put this on Facebook a little while ago. The Cleveland Browns and the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl. I want to see that. I want to see that both teams are kind of similar. They haven't really won anything since like the 50s for real, and
Mike, if I can cut you off for just a second here, we're actually going to talk for a few more minutes because I just saw coming in from backstage, he was able to make it. Mizpah from Mayhem Media.
Hey, what's going on?
Welcome to Mayhemtainment. Getting in at the last minute.
Couldn't be on sooner.
Yeah, that's all right. Hey, it's awesome that you were actually able to make it. We were actually just getting ready to go into our follow us on and hit the like button and stuff right when I saw you pop in. So we'll get you in for a minute here. We were talking about the playoffs. Mizpah, our picks, Mike D's picks is, believe it or not. Oops, let me start with the AFC side because that's how we did it. Mike D's pick for the AFC side was, believe it or not, Cleveland. Don't have a stroke.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said. And then he also picked, who did you pick? Oh, Cleveland and Baltimore is who he picked for the championship. And then he thinks Cleveland goes to the Super Bowl also because I told him, I said, listen, if you're picking Cleveland to go to the championship, you might as well just go all in and say they're going to the Super Bowl too. Do you have a pick? Do you want to give us some picks? What do you think?
So I think Kansas City's going to beat Miami, and I think at the Super Bowl it's Kansas City and Dallas.
No, for the Super Bowl, Kansas City and Dallas.
Yeah.
So you're going right for the Super Bowl pick. You don't want to pick the AFC Championship. You're going right for the Super Bowl. And, of course, you have to pick Dallas because Dallas is your team, just as Philadelphia is mine, just as Detroit is Mike D's team. Now, you should know that even I think I picked Detroit and Philadelphia for the championship game. But unless the Eagles go back to the way that they were playing at the beginning of this season, I don't know that you stop Detroit's momentum after beating the Rams. So I think it's going to be Detroit and Baltimore in the Super Bowl. I think that's going to be the Super Bowl. If the Eagles turn it on, then I think Detroit and Philly, who knows? Anything can happen in the championship game. But I don't know that you're going to stop Detroit after beating the Rams. I think that's going to be because Jared Goff and Stafford have switched teams. They're playing their old teams. So this game's going to go off. And I think if Detroit beats the Rams, I don't know that you stop that momentum.
So I mean, if you want to go individual games, I would say for Cleveland and Houston game, I'm going to go with Cleveland on that.
Interesting.
Houston's kind of been a little hit or miss these past few games.
Yeah, and Joe Flacco's really has Cleveland right, on a winning strategy right now. We were saying earlier.
Yeah, and Houston just doesn't seem like they're firing on all 8 cylinders right now.
I don't know, man. CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud is pretty good, but I think the inexperience is what's gonna hurt Houston going up against that Cleveland defense, and then going up against Flacco. Flacco and Stroud is going to be a good matchup, but I think Flacco, with his experience, is going to have the advantage.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And then,
well, you picked Kansas City to go to the Super Bowl, so I assume you pick them to win over Miami.
Absolutely.
And Pittsburgh Buffalo, that's going to be a tough game. That just don't be fooled by the number 2, number 7 seeds on that. They're 2 tough teams.
Miami's got a lot of players that are hurt right now.
Yeah, that's true.
So they're not.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not at full strength. That's why I think it's going to be the Chiefs. And then with Pittsburgh and Buffalo, it's gonna be Buffalo.
Ooh, interesting. I just picked it now. Just in full disclosure, I picked the winner of the Pittsburgh Buffalo game. I said the winner of the Pittsburgh Buffalo game and against Baltimore for the AFC Championship. I did not pick a winner on that game. I just know that one of those teams will be facing Baltimore in the championship.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I'm going to say it's Buffalo wins that game because Buffalo's been pretty hot this year. Pittsburgh kind of relied on a couple of teams to lose for them to be able to even make the playoffs. You know, they were kind of scraping to get in, and I just don't think they're a caliber team compared to the Bills.
And I do understand that, but they got the momentum right now too. I mean, they got momentum on their side, and when you got the big Mo, sometimes that can really carry you. At least to the first round. I don't know if they make it past the first round. Well, I think they'll make it to the championship. If they beat Buffalo, they're going to the AFC Championship.
As fast as momentum is gained, it's lost quicker.
All right. So, and you think that the Chiefs go all the way to the championship, win the championship, and then go to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Now the NFC side. Now, Mike D and I discussed this. If Detroit and Philly end up facing each other for the NFC Championship, we're going to do a special episode for Championship weekend. Otherwise, we will do another football episode on Super Bowl Sunday, either before, during, or after the Super Bowl. But if Philadelphia and Detroit make it to the championship, we're going to do a special episode before that game so that Mike D and I can talk smack to each other.
So I think it's going to come down to, well, obviously, I think Philly's going to win their game.
Yeah.
I think Detroit's going to be pushing hard, and Dallas is going to win their game, obviously. And then from there, I think Dallas takes it all the way.
You think Dallas takes it all the way? I don't think Dallas takes it all the way. Like I said, I think if Detroit wins, it's going to be hard to break their momentum. And if the Eagles can beat Tampa Bay, they might have gotten their stuff together. So let's just play this out for just a second. Let's assume that, because this is great. This is actually going to be easy. All three of our teams, gentlemen, are playing in separate games in the first round of the playoffs. Okay.
All right.
So let's assume that all three of our teams win the first round of the playoffs. Okay.
Okay.
That would put Philadelphia, the lowest seeded team, that they would go against San Francisco. Certainly not an easy task for Philly. That would put Dallas against Detroit for the divisional round of the playoffs. The divisional round is the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's the wild card round, divisional round, championship round for anybody who doesn't know the terminology. So, but if the Eagles win, that automatically puts Detroit and Dallas, if they win, against each other in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be something. So if that happens, now are we going to have to? Should we do another special episode on the divisional on the divisional weekend? In case it's Dallas and Detroit.
Hey, I'm up for it.
I'm up for it too. I'm
all right. Well, then there we go. If Detroit and Dallas win and Philly wins, because if Tampa Bay wins, nope. Actually, either way, as long as Detroit and Dallas win the first round of their win on their games, the first round of the playoffs, they will face each other regardless of who wins the Philadelphia and Tampa Bay game, because that would even Tampa Bay is lower seeded than both Detroit and Dallas, and that would put them against San Francisco. So if you guys,
I honestly look forward to a Detroit-Dallas game.
I'm sorry, what?
I look forward to a Detroit-Dallas game again.
Yeah, and that's in your team's hands. If both your teams win, that automatically puts you two against each other, and the winner of the Philadelphia-Tampa Bay game goes to San Francisco automatically.
Now, where would that game be played? Do we know that?
Yeah,
it would be played in
I'll
Dallas.
tell you that. It would take place in Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas.
So I really think that Detroit versus Dallas, I think that game comes down to home field advantage.
That's interesting. Certainly. My argument would be, though, however, that Detroit is used to playing in a dome, so you don't get any dome. You get straight only home field advantage. Normally, when you go to Dallas, you get the dome advantage too. Not every team plays in a dome, and it's different playing in a controlled environment than it is out there with weather and wind and stuff. You could say it's easier, but I don't think so. I think when you're so used to playing with the elements, When you don't play with the elements, it's a significant enough change.
Anytime you're playing in an environment that isn't relevant to your home field, there's a disadvantage.
Yeah, like I said, you get the home field advantage, but Dallas, you also could potentially have, get that dome advantage too, I think. But I don't, being that Detroit plays in a dome themselves, you're only getting the straight home field advantage. And I don't know, like I said, if Detroit beats the Rams, I don't know that even Dallas can stop them, man. I think that momentum is going to carry them all the way. I think it's going to carry them all the way to the Super Bowl, to be quite honest.
Well, that game, and the reason I look forward to that game is because I think the strongest competition for Dallas is Detroit.
I think San Francisco. I think Dallas, San Francisco. I think if Dallas and San Francisco somehow make it to the championship, I think that would be a tough game also for Dallas.
Yeah, after that last game Dallas had against San Francisco, I don't think they want to see San Fran again.
Yeah. I kind of see what you're saying, Ms. Pa, absolutely. But I think if Philadelphia can't beat or Tampa Bay can't beat San Francisco and Dallas does make it to the championship, I don't know that Dallas can knock off San Francisco. In my opinion, Dallas has a long road through the playoffs. I think if Dallas makes it to the Super Bowl, they have earned it in spades this year by far.
Well, that's how I want it to be. I want Dallas to be able to say they earned their way into the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
I don't want anybody to be able to say, "Oh, they had an easy road in," or they played a bunch of chump teams. Like, I don't want to see any of that.
Yeah, but you already know Jerry Jones is in. Who's your head coach? Do you know your head coach?
McCarthy?
Is it McCarthy?
Yeah, it's McCarthy.
Jerry Jones is already in. Is right now as we're sitting here talking, recording this. Jerry Jones is in Mike McCarthy's ear right now, telling him what to do. That's why Dallas can't ever make it deep into the playoffs.
At this point in the game, if Dallas is going to the Super Bowl, I could see McCarthy placating Jones.
It's because Jones is dead. That's how it's. If Dallas makes it to the Super Bowl, it's because Jerry Jones is dead.
Hey, all I'm gonna say about Dallas is that they're the accident waiting to happen.
Yeah, you said that earlier. Yeah, you said that earlier.
They're the accident waiting to happen. So,
and that's been the story. Yeah, that's been Dallas' story for the last couple of years, though, is that they're a strong team on paper. They should be crushing it in the NFC. You know what I mean? There's very few teams on paper that should be able to hang with the Cowboys. Okay. They've always been, at least for the last couple of years, been their own worst enemy or Jerry Jones's worst enemy, whether it's Jerry Jones or just their own shit that gets in the way.
But there's something different with Dallas this year.
I know. I understand what you're saying, but it's
watching them play reminds me of watching them play back in the 90s.
Yeah, and then I told JD earlier, I said, they're the accident waiting to happen, but one of those years, the accident is not going to happen. And this could be possibly the year. So, if we got to see. But if they play Detroit again, it's going to be interesting because I think Detroit is going to have a lot of festivity because of what happened in the last game. So
I think it'll be a dogfight.
Yeah. I think they're gonna definitely gonna have something to play for, and they're gonna be ready.
I think that game comes down to the last seconds. I really do. I think it's whoever's able to manage to put together a drive in the last seconds of the game.
Yeah, I think I was saying about the Buffalo-Pittsburgh game as well. I think that comes down to it was the Detroit Rams game. I think. So many of the playoff games I think are really going to be. I think it's going to be a tight. We're going to see some good playoff games this year. Normally, the first round of the playoffs can be blowouts, but I'm really hoping this year it looks exciting. It looks exciting.
It does. It really looks good this year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, unless you wanted to address anything else, Ms. Pa, that's what we were at, and we were going to get ready to wrap it up. I'm glad that you were able to join us here towards the end.
I'm good. I wanted to be able to hop on.
Yeah.
And catch you guys for a few minutes here. I'm glad that you guys stuck around for a little bit. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll definitely look for us if it's Detroit and Dallas in the divisional round. Look for a special episode from us. Likely, probably just a short episode. And then if it's Philadelphia and Detroit in the championship game, look for yet another special episode that we'll do. And of course, look for us on the Super Bowl Sunday. We have not decided if it's going to be before the game, at halftime, or after the game is over, or a combination of any of those. We haven't decided that, but we do know that we will be doing an episode on Super Bowl Sunday. So look for us then. And we will likely have some more episodes coming out before the Super Bowl also, in addition to the special episodes I just talked about. We hope to get CranderQ on. Shout out Friends of the Squared Circle. I hope to, I don't know if she'll be on before the Super Bowl or not, but we're going to give another shout out to, just totally drew a blank there. Sorry, everybody. So we're going to just move on. Let's just not give out any more shout outs since I just drew a blank, because you know how it goes after that. Let's just wrap it up. Mike D, Wrestling from the 313. Go share his content. Go check him out. He's on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Go give him a follow. Tell him Mayhem Media sent you. Also, the storefront. What's your storefront?
Wrestling from the 313shop.com. Go over there, get you a hoodie, t-shirt, skull cap, coffee mug. Something.
Yeah,
it's wintertime, get you a hoodie, stay warm.
Yep. Pick up some apparel. And also our storefront. We have our storefront. It's bonfire.com/JDE Designs. That's with a Z at the end of it. Pick yourself up a nice t-shirt like what I'm wearing right now. We also have sweatshirts, and we also have the traveling mug and the coffee mug as well. Pick up some apparel, support the show. And we are on Facebook, Rumble, and YouTube. So please hit the subscribe button and hit the follow button. Please share out our episodes as we continue to grow our podcast. We want to try and reach more people. So please share it out. That's how you can help us. Mizpah is the executive producer of Mayhem Media and our sister show, The Boiling Point Podcast. Check out The Boiling Point Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble also. The Boiling Point Podcast covers the political side, faith, world news, that kind of thing. Mayhem Media sticks strictly with entertainment. One last thing, also, the Olympics are this year. Look for us to be doing, we'll likely be doing several episodes as we've done in the past over the Olympics. Maybe we can even recruit Mike D to join us in some of those episodes if he's a fan of the Olympics also. But we will be doing the Olympics. It's Olympic year, so look for that. We'll be doing that as well. And many other things. After the Dragon, look for After the Dragon. Shout out Mizpah here, who is with us. We'll be doing After the Dragon, following House of the Dragon as soon as that comes out. So look for that. We have lots of content, lots of things to look forward to here in 2024 from Mayhem Media. So stay tuned to us. Leave us a comment. For Mike D, Wrestling from the 313, and my executive producer, Mizpah, I am your host, JB. And that's the end.
Good night.
Peace.